Live from Miami Subs Grill in Dallas, Texas, with the music of Emerald City, this is Sports Waves. Now, here's your host, Mike Doocy.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Sports Waves. I'm Mike Doocy, and this is the place where each and every week we talk football with some of the biggest names in the game. Glad you could be with us today because we have an outstanding show planned for you here over the course of the next hour. Herschel Walker, the outstanding running back from the Philadelphia Eagles, will be joining us live via satellite from Philly. We'll talk about his great career, which, of course, got started with a Heisman Trophy back at the University of Georgia, continued through the USFL, Dallas Cowboys, and now with the Eagles. Herschel will be along in just a moment. We will also talk some defense with one of the hottest defensive ends in all of pro football right now. He's having as good a season as anybody, leading the Dallas Cowboys in quarterback sacks. Charles Haley will be along in a few minutes. And you'll also want to stick around for our Celebrity Pick 3. Believe it or not, it's Peter, Paul, and Mary. Okay, all right. A lot of the people in this audience are so young they don't even remember Peter, Paul, and Mary, but I do, and I think maybe some of you do at home as well. We're going to have some fun with that a little bit later on in our Celebrity Pick 3. To get the show started, we have a very special report here today. Some of sports' brightest stars were in New York last week, benefiting the Buoniconti Fund, the national fundraising arm of the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis. Our own Jimmie Johnson from Sports Waves was honored for his achievements as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And we have more in a report from Tony Martinez.
The 9th annual Legends Dinner honored some of sports' biggest names, McEnroe, Holyfield, Unser, and the likes of Carl Lewis and Franco Harris. But the biggest name on the guest list was Jimmie Johnson. Everyone, it seems, has something to say about Jimmie or his hair.
He's committed and has excelled in his field. The commitment he has shown to coaching is I won't say unparalleled, but it ranks up there with some of the greats.
He's doing well in what he's doing now, but he belongs on the football field, and I'm sure he's going to be back to there pretty soon.
Jimmie Johnson, the water cooler went on top of his head before all the ice and his hair was still in the same place.
The dinner itself benefits the Buoniconti Fund, which supports the Miami Project and its goal to find a cure for paralysis. Mark Buoniconti, the son of former Dolphins All-Pro linebacker Nick Buoniconti, was injured in a college football game in 1985. He is now a quadriplegic. Over the past 8 years, the Buonicontis have raised over $20 million for the Miami Project. Jimmie and the other honorees here tonight recognize their participation helps define the meaning of a sports legend.
Let me just say I'm really happy to be here with all the people, and not only that, but with the reason we're here, because you're talking about a young man who's inspired a lot of people. You know, when we as athletes use our bodies to make our whole lives work, and when someone else can have that part taken away physically for now and continue to move on, it means a lot. I'm very happy to be here.
All right. Very special story to get things started here on Sports Waves. As I mentioned, our first guest today won the Heisman Trophy in 1982 from the University of Georgia, rushed for 1,500 yards with the Cowboys in 1988, and had a 1,000-yard season in 1992 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Welcome from Philadelphia, Herschel Walker. Herschel, thanks for being with us on Sports Waves. Your Eagles enjoy a share of the lead in the NFC East. You have to be happy with the way your football team is playing. Give us kind of an analysis, if you would, of how you feel your Eagles are playing right now.
Well, I think we're playing well right now. Against Washington last night, we didn't play the kind of football we wanted to play, but we won the game. And I think being tied right now for the league and having an opportunity to come to Dallas and play the best team in the NFL, as they've been telling us, it was a big honor.
A lot of the folks here in our studio in Dallas, of course, would agree with that fact that the Cowboys are the best team in football, but we want to talk with you more about that game here in just a few minutes. Again, the Eagles off to the great start, and you're a guy who has played so many roles for the various football teams you've been on throughout the years. How would you characterize your role with the Eagles right now?
Well, I've been saying for the last couple of years that I'm sort of like what you call a trash man. I pick up in just about any position and just play it. I think I'm so fortunate through God's grace that He's given me the ability to do a lot of different things. I think it's been an asset as well as a default for me, because now since coaches know that I can do it, they're having me to play a lot of different roles. But I think if we're going to get to the Super Bowl, if we're going to get to that promised land that we want to go to, we're going to have players that are going to have to make sacrifices and do a lot of different things. And if I'm capable of doing them, I'm going to do them.
Herschel, we have a lot of folks in our studio audience who would love to ask you a question, and let's say hello to Carolyn Neff. Carolyn?
Hi, Mike. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. I'm here with Mike Taylor, and Mike has a special question for Herschel.
Yeah, what was your most memorable game your Heisman Trophy year you played?
I think what I remember in college is really not the Heisman Trophy, but I think my freshman year we won a national championship. And we won it we beat Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, and everyone thought that Georgia was going to get killed. Everyone had already slated that we were going to lose the game, and we went in against a very good Notre Dame team, and we ended up winning the national championship my freshman year. And I enjoyed that because that was a big team win right there.
All right, Herschel, we ask you to stay with us if you would. We have much more with Herschel Walker coming up in just a few minutes. As usual, each and every week on Sports Waves, we get you, the audience at home, involved with our wave line, 1-800-700-9002. The question this week, why hasn't the National Football League embraced the two-point conversion? Reason number one, the coaches are too conservative. Or you may choose reason number two, game situations have not created the needs. Or perhaps reason number three, the players, the coaches, and the fans just can't do the new math. Maybe that's the reason. 1-800-700-9002. Stay with us, Herschel Walker and more as we roll on with Sports Waves when we come back in a moment.
Bryant. Sports Waves is brought to you by Apex Authentic NFL Pro-Line Apparel. Available at Foot Action. For every action, there's Foot Action.
By American Airlines, something special in the air.
By the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, the world's largest hotel, casino, and theme park.
And by Miami Subs Grill. Great food served fast.
We'll be right back with Heroes, Weenies, and Herschel Walker. See you then.
Look at Gonzalez, that's what this game is all about.
Welcome back to Sports Waves. We'll continue our conversation with Herschel Walker in just a few seconds, but I want to bring up my co-host for the night now. He set the Dallas Cowboy record for most interceptions in a season in his rookie year in 1981. He's still number 2 on the all-time interception list for the Dallas Cowboys. Played in Dallas from 81 through 89 when he left for New York and won a Super Bowl with the Giants in 91. He now lives in Dallas, does some commentary for ABC, does some radio work as well. Please welcome Everson Walls. Everson, thanks for being here. Now, we have Herschel Walker ready to go and want to talk to him again in just a moment. It's customary for the co-host usually to be here from the beginning of the show. Everson sort of threw a different twist into that tonight.
I came from the State Fair. I couldn't help it. That's the worst place in the world to be.
The State Fair in Texas. They were just too much fun. You rode on the roller coaster one too many times. Let's call it a former teammate of yours again now, Herschel Walker. Herschel, Mike Doocy here, and Everson Walls alongside as well.
Hello, Mr. Walls. I'm glad that you made it.
Oh, thank you.
Everson, we talked in the first segment with Herschel about his role with the Eagles and how he's been asked to do so many things throughout the course of his career. From a guy who played in the league for so long as you did, you really have to admire that quality about a back, I would imagine.
Well, I know that when Herschel was here in Dallas, he had his most productive year. I believe it was 87, Herschel.
Yes, it was.
And that's when Tom used him all over the field. It was split him out wide, had him in the backfield. You never knew where he was going to be, and that enabled him to have probably his most productive year in the pros.
Herschel, our show is seen all over the country, but we have a lot of viewers in Dallas. When you look back on those Dallas years now, what do you think about?
I enjoyed those years because, I was there with a very mature team with, Mr. Walls there and, Randy Whites, Tony Dorsett's, Ed Jones, and, those guys, they're going to go down in history as some of the best players ever to play the game. And for me to have rubbed shoulders with them, it was a blessing. And also to have had the opportunity to play under Coach Landry. I respect him a great deal. And I think he helped my career out a great deal by showing people that I can do a lot of different things.
Well, one thing I noticed about you, Herschel, since you moved to Philly, you've got this real hard look on your face. You used to smile a whole lot more. What happened to you?
Well, I think being here in Philly, you got to look tough. If you're smiling all the time, people think you got a problem. So you have to try to get that mean look every now and then.
You're a guy who has a lot of different skills on the football field and off the field. You've been involved in fitness videos for kids, and a lot of people know that you've been involved in the U.S. Olympic Bobsled team as well. Talk about that experience a little bit. That has to be a wild ride.
Well, that was an experience that I never forget. I've always told people I was going to go to the Olympics and track, but to go into bobsledding, which is an event that a boy from the South, Georgia, never heard of the bobsled before. And, my teammate there on the two-man team was Brian Scheimer, who was from Florida. So you had two guys representing the U.S. Both are from states that has no snow, that it never snows there. And, I had a lot of fun.
Herschel, let's go back into our studio audience. Carolyn Neff. Carolyn?
Thank you, Mike. Keith Llewellyn has a question that he wants to ask you, and I'm really glad you're via satellite for this one.
How's it going, Herschel?
Hello there, Keith.
All right. First of all, I want to ask you, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on that victory up in San Francisco. But I want to tell you on Sunday, don't even think about it.
Uh-oh. Well, it's going to be tough, but, we're going to have to win this one.
Okay. My question is there still any animosity toward the Dallas players and the team? And also, do you still have that tutu in the trunk?
I've never had any animosity toward Dallas and the team. A lot of the teammates there in Dallas, a lot of my old teammates and some of the new guys, I'm in Dallas. So I do a lot of things with those guys. I still work out with a lot of them. And, the situation with Jerry and Jimmie, it was a business move. I think Jimmie Johnson will tell you right now, everything is business. And, when you look at it as a business move, I had nothing to do with it, but I think I had a good representative that done well by me. And I still carry the tutu a little bit, but not too many people can come up to my face and say too much about it.
Herschel, let's break down that Dallas-Philadelphia matchup just a little bit. Early leaders in the NFC East, what are you going to have to do to beat the Cowboys this coming Sunday?
What we got to do is we got to be consistent. We got to go in. I can only speak on offense. We got to go in with that offense using all the weapons that we have, and we do have a lot of weapons. We got to put those big bodies that we have up front on the on the Dallas defensive line and just blow them off the line of scrimmage and let Fred Barnett and Calvin catch some passes going downfield, and Charlie and myself burn them up on the ground a little bit, and then we'll throw the defense in to, we got to stop Emmett. I think the first thing that comes to mind, and I think in every defensive mind, is you got to stop Emmett. People would say the quarterback is your key, and Troy is playing well. When I was in Dallas, I told someone then that I thought Troy Aikman was going to be one of the best quarterbacks ever to play the game. And people thought I was like crazy, but I watched him. I watched Troy when I was in training camp with him this rookie year. He used to come to my room when Todd Fowler was my roommate. And I think I told Todd that. I said, I think Troy is going to be one of the best because the guy don't let too many things bother him. But, if we stop Emmett and try to put pressure to Troy to throw the ball and maybe to get that defense of William Fuller and Greg Townsend and Andy Harmon, chasing Troy a little bit, maybe we can cause some interception. But, we got to be consistent, though.
All right, Herschel, stand by. Everson Walls and I'll have more with Herschel Walker when we come back with more Sports Waves. Stay with us.
Tonight's Sports Waves with Mike Doocy is being sponsored in part by Acura, by Al's Pick-U-Park, by Metrocell, and by Acock Tire and Wheel.
Watch this. With Metrocell, I can dial my cellular phone with my voice.
Back on Sports Waves, I'm Mike Doocy. Everson Walls with me here in the studio, and Herschel Walker via satellite in Philadelphia.
Hey, Herschel, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the strength of the NFC East with Philadelphia really surprising me at this point, New York Giants just as surprising, and, of course, the continued strength of the Cowboys?
Well, you know, the NFC East is tough. You know, I've been in the NFC Central when I was with Minnesota, but, you know, if you're going to play tough football, you better come over to the NFC East because this is a tough division. And if you look over history, it's just about the team that can make it out of here healthy are going to be the team that's going to go into the playoffs and maybe be the team to win the Super Bowl.
Speaking of health, how's Charlie Garner doing right now for your team?
Charlie's doing well. You know, this is I think it's going to be a week-to-week situation. You know, Charlie's not a big guy. He's a great football player, but we're trying to keep the guy healthy and, you know, not put a lot of stress on him during the week and just get him ready to play on Sunday.
All right, Herschel, let's go back into our studio audience. Carolyn?
Thank you. I'm out here with Jason Parker from Atlanta, Georgia, and he has a question for you, Herschel.
I got to ask you, Herschel, how many more years do you think your aching body can keep playing football? And what are some of your aspirations after the NFL?
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm becoming an old man. I was going to say it in next segment, y'all got to tell Charles Haley to take it easy on me. I'm becoming an old man. But you know, I think it's God is going to tell me. I think once God said, Herschel, it's time for you to give this up, I'm going to give it up. You know, the FBI has always been a dream. It's always been something I like to do. I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity to do it, but right now in Dallas, I'm working for an investigation firm, Security Solutions. So if anyone out there needs an investigator, they can call Security Solutions out there in Dallas.
It's a little hard for you to work undercover, isn't it, Herschel?
It is hard for me to work undercover, but, you know, if I'm doing a good job, that means that I'm pretty good at it so far.
All right, Herschel Walker, we appreciate your time today from Philadelphia. You'll receive a custom suit from Lombardo's. Herschel Walker, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, Everson Walls is with us as the co-host on this edition of Sports Waves. And Everson, each and every week we do a little segment we like to call Riding the Wave and Stuck in the Sand. We talk about which teams are hot, which individual players. And in this case, this week, we're going to talk about some coaches who are hot and some who are not. Let's start off with those who are riding the wave, first of all. And in San Diego, well, you can't play much better than Bobby Ross's Chargers have so far.
Well, the thing I like about San Diego is not just the coach, but I like their throwback uniforms. I think if they keep those on, then they might keep winning because the last time they wore those uniforms, I think they went like 10-0 before anyone even blinked an eye.
Back in '61, and then the old uniforms look better than their new
They
ones
sure
anyway.
do.
Okay, Dan Reeves of the New York Giants. A lot of people thought his career was in effect over when he left Denver, but he's shown here now for a couple of years that he can get it done.
Well, you know, he almost had to talk George Young into hiring him. He called the Giants. I don't think the Giants really called him. And he has proven to be, as he always was, one of the better coaches in the NFL who's very good at, I'd say, making his players play over their heads. That's what he's doing in New York right now.
Giants winning 3 of their first 4 games. And Herschel Walker's head coach, Richie Kotite, also riding the wave right now. He has his Eagles tied for first after 5 ball games.
And you would expect Philadelphia, especially with them using some key players, losing some key players on the defense, to have some type of problem. But I really can't believe the way they're playing right now.
All right, let's go to those who might be stuck in the sand right now. And could be stuck without a job after the end of this season. Number one, Wade Phillips and the Broncos have just been horrible. No two ways about it.
Not only Wade, but Charlie Waters is having a problem up there as well. They did well yesterday defensively, but still that doesn't take them away from the fire yet.
And David Shula is probably on the hottest of hot seats right now with the Bengals.
I don't think anyone here is surprised about that, especially with his offensive reputation here in Dallas when he was here with Jimmie Johnson.
Pete Carroll, in New York, the expectations are always high, and there's always a hot seat involved when you're coaching with the Jets.
Well, if the prior coach could keep his job as long as he did, I think Carroll is doing a much better job. I look for him to be around a little bit longer. I don't think he's in as much trouble as, say, someone like Art Shell, for instance, with the Raiders.
All right, we'll be back with more Sports Waves in just a moment. The pick three this week, the celebrity pick three, as I mentioned earlier, we have a big treat for you tonight. Peter, Paul, and Mary. You remember some of their biggest hits. Anybody remember one of Peter, Paul, and Mary's biggest hits? Puff the Magic Dragon, yeah. Leaving on a Jet Plane. They had some classics back in the 1960s, and we sent a camera crew out to get the pick three from Peter, Paul, and Mary. I get a bit confused on this, but I don't think Mary could do it. She didn't want to have anything to do with football. And I believe it was Paul who got a little too philosophical and was wearing love beads.
I wouldn't know anything about this conversation. I'll just let you handle that.
You'll let me continue to dig myself into this hole. Peter Euro is the one man who did want to talk some football. Let's see what he had to say.
You know what's most interesting about football to me? That there's no color in it. That the players, to one degree or another, really have gotten beyond the sense of black and white. That they love each other. That they really, really respect and love each other. Not just for their abilities as players.
Through the air with the greatest of
They love each other as human beings because they're working together, and their value to one another is human and connected to the skill and expertise that they bring to the game. That's what I love about the sport. If somehow the spirit that's brought to that could be brought more profoundly to our country, we would understand that when we're in the service of something together, to make something work, something that's fun or something that's joyous or something that's beautiful, that when that happens, we have a salad. Would you like to taste the salad? The whole thing now.
That is an awesome salad.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh, I've never heard football described quite like that. What do you think's in that salad, Everson?
I don't know, that was a pretty weird description of football from my point of view.
All right. Peter Euro from Peter, Paul, and Mary. As Sports Waves continues, we'll be back. We still have Charles Haley coming up on the show from the Dallas Cowboys. Stay with us.
Most people would jump at the chance. 10 days in South America. But this was business, and I was 5,000 miles from home, trying to keep my bearings, trying to negotiate.
Hi, I'm Jody Gregory. You know, exercising your right to vote is the most important part in maintaining freedom in America. So do the right thing. Call our wave line and vote. Here's the question that has the fate of your country hanging in the balance. Call toll-free 1-800-700-9002 right now. Do it for America.
We're back on Sports Waves. I'm Mike Doocy. Everson Walls alongside tonight on Sports Waves. After Week 6 in the NFL, we are left with just one undefeated football team. And as we talked earlier, they're still wearing those throwback uniforms as sort of a good luck charm. With the NFL wrap for this week, here's Mark Meter.
week number 6 in the NFL, and there are still a few teams wearing their throwbacks uniforms, although I'm not sure why, except in the case of the San Diego Chargers. The Bolts have been electrifying. Their win over Kansas City drops Montana's Chiefs to 3-2, while the Chargers remain as the league's only undefeated team. Word has it San Diego fans are asking the team not to go back to the regular uniforms. That's a true story. Buddy ball is deflating. Buddy Ryan's Arizona Cardinals dropped to 1-4. The Cards had their wings clipped by the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Irvin steals a pass from James Williams. Michael was Week 6's most prolific receiver with 8 catches for 136 yards, while Kevin Williams had the NFL's longest TD this week. The kickoff return good for 87 yards and 6 points. Broncos coach Wade Phillips saved his job for at least another week as Denver gets their first win this year by beating the Seattle Seahawks. Most of Denver's points came in threes, but John Elway, taking things into his own hands, on the rollout and run for a touchdown. Another coach who may be in the unemployment line before season's end, Wayne Fontes in Detroit. His Lions dropped to 2-4 against the Niners. Barry Sanders, the standout for the Silver and Blue. Nobody has really been able to shut down Barry this year. The Patriots have the big gun in New England. Of course, I'm talking about Drew Bledsoe. He racked up another 300-yard passing game. That's 5 already this season. But that wasn't enough to beat the Raiders. 2 of the AFC's most highly touted teams in the preseason. The Patriots are 3-3. The Raiders pick up only their second win against 3 losses this year. What will the Bears do when injured quarterback Eric Kramer returns from a separated shoulder? His replacement, Steve Walsh, remains unbeaten as Chicago's starting QB. Sunday's victory over New Orleans improved the Bears to 4-2. Buffalo's 21-11 win over Miami means those 2 perennial powerhouses are tied for first in the AFC East. Both teams have a 4-2 record. The New York Jets drop the Indy Colts, and Boomer Esiason says the party's at my house. You just go straight down Main Street, hang a left at Oak, you can't miss it. The Falcons' win over the Buccaneers improves Atlanta's record to 4-2, tied with the San Francisco 49ers for the lead in the NFC West. And Terrence Mathis is so happy he's just got to dance. With the NFL wrap-up, I'm Mark Meter for Sports Waves.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Everson Walls, let's talk a little bit about your career and what you're up to right now. I know you've been getting into the broadcasting field. I was on a radio show with you a couple of weeks ago, and you're asking me how to get into TV. Then I see you're doing games on ABC. I should be asking you. What are you up to there?
Well, I've been trying to stay busy. It's very fortunate when a player can be just as busy after he retires. And I've been pretty fortunate to do that. I'm still trying to get on permanently with ABC, college football. But at this point, the radio show and an upcoming TV show that I'm going to be doing they're going to be my main work. So I'm pretty happy about it.
All right, we're going to take you back now to 1981.
That's way back.
your rookie season, Thousand Oaks, California, Cowboys summer training camp. Gene Stallings, a member of the Cowboys coaching staff back then, had a few things to say to a rookie named Everson Walls. Look familiar?
Yeah, I never forgot this one myself.
Chase, what's wrong with you, boy? Huh? Hell, this is professional football. The guy beat you, you chase him. You understand that? Never let that happen. Go hop back in there.
You've seen that tape a few times. I guess you got a kind of a rude introduction into pro football right away. What do you remember?
That was my first day, and just so happened one of the TV cameras were out there trying to do a story on Mike Downs and myself. And that's what I got into on my first day.
Right. Of course, a very productive career with the Cowboys followed. We asked Herschel Walker earlier about his departure from Dallas. When you look back on your Dallas days now and the way that you left, how do you look back on that?
Well, I had mixed emotions. Number one, I knew I had just gotten put on the bench for half the season with the Cowboys because of a personal difference between Jimmie and myself. After that, I knew that if he would have kept me around the following year, then the chances of me getting on with that team or another team would have been very slim. So when I got the phone call from Jimmie that I would be put on Plan B, which is the type of free agency that the NFL had at that time, I was really very pleased because that was my opportunity to go and do something with another club. And by God's graciousness, I was able to do that with the New York Giants and win the Super Bowl in 1990.
Again, Charles Haley is still to come tonight on Sports Waves. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Metrocell has Metrocell Connect with real-life operators breathing
at 337-8877 or 1-800-833.
Back on Sports Waves, our next guest is one of the top defensive ends in pro football. He leads the Dallas Cowboys in quarterback sacks so far this year. Had an injury-plagued season last season, but has come on strong here in '94. Let's take a look at Charles Haley in action.
You know, with Charles Haley back healthy, I think they're one of the better defensive teams in the league again.
Hello, Charles. Pitches it back, and Haley sacks him on an aborted flea flicker. Haley coming again and got him again. Charles Haley exploding. Pressure from Haley, got him again.
Charles Haley. Cowboy defense didn't get much publicity coming into the year, but they've kind of been the story of this football team here through the first 5 ball games. Talk a little bit about how the defense has been playing.
I think the defense has been playing like super lately. The key to it is we've been playing together for the last 2 years that I've been here. We've been playing together as a force, and last year, they got to a point where they was trying to belittle the defense and players. And Barry's people don't believe in Barry, don't like Barry, but he brought a new attitude to the team. He brought respect of each other. And I think guys are responding to that a lot better. Where Jimmie would get down on guys a lot, and humiliate them and Barry say, hey, you my guy. It's up to you to screw it up. You my guy. And guys are responding. We're playing like a defense. And I love it.
Well, besides yourself, obviously you're having a great year this year. I like to speak from a secondary standpoint. Who in the secondary would you say is the leader? I know James Washington's playing well, but this guy Woodson looks like he's having a Pro Bowl year.
Well, hey, to me, it ain't the guy that walks the loudest is the leader. It's the guy that gets out there and performs every day, in practice, and then every Sunday. Darren Woodson is a guy, Kevin Puck. Kevin Smith is one of those guys too. Those two guys will really go out there every Sunday with their game face on, and you can count on them to do everything that they're supposed to do without a doubt. And J-Dub though, he'll come up and knock you out if you get a chance though. But
let's go to our studio audience. Carolyn.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Charles. How you doing?
Hi.
Good. Hi. I'm out here with Jody Cohn, and Jody has kind of an interesting question for you, I think.
Hi, Charles. Rumor has it that you have a bike that you like to ride. I want to know if this bike fits your bad boy image.
Well, I'm a Harley rider myself, and I don't know where people get this understand that I'm a bad boy. I am a Christian. I love God. I love people. Sometimes in life you got to do what you got to do. So that don't make you a bad person.
I know that some coaches they frown a little bit on their players riding bikes, especially during the season. How does Barry feel about it?
Well, Barry say, that's dangerous. But he, until they want it, they pay that note on that bike, then they can make their decision on whether I'm going to ride it or not, But otherwise than that, I got to do what I got to do.
Everson and I return more with Charles Haley. Stay with us. Sports Waves is coming right back.
Catch the wave by wearing our team colors. The Sports Waves t-shirt is perfect for the big game with our logo proudly displayed on front and back. It's 100% cotton, comes in large and extra large, and can be yours for only $11.99. The cap is adjustable and one size fits all, also for only $11.99. The cap and t-shirt together are offered at a special discount, just $19.99. Sports Waves accepts MasterCard, Visa, and Discover. Call 1-800-6-WAVES-9.
Come on, take the plunge.
That's 1-800-6-WAVES-9. Add $3.95 for shipping. Offer void where prohibited. The waves still not included.
Happy birthday to Tamura, one of the Waves. Happy birthday to you. Won't ask you how old you are. We're back on Sports Waves. Mike Doocy with Everson Walls and Charles Haley. Charles, you mentioned Barry Switzer, and you're one of the players who's been pretty outspoken in your support of him. There was one incident that made the papers in Dallas anyway, that there was a little bit of an argument involving you and some of the people on the team, a minor thing, but that Barry went so far as to come to your house to talk to you about it and make sure there weren't any ruffled feathers. Does that say a lot about him as a head coach? Did that even happen? Maybe it didn't happen. I don't know.
Hey, I just think, when you read the paper, it's a lot of propaganda in there. And, I can't sort out the facts from the fiction, so I don't even read it. So I don't know what they're talking about. Barry is a man, I'm a man, and we got that man relationship where, he treats me with respect and I treat him with respect. And that's it,
You've been able to turn it around personally this year. You've had, as everybody knew, the back problem last year. You had kind of a lower leg problem in training camp this year. You've been around the league for a while, but now you lead the team in sacks early on in the season. What's been the key accelerating your game at this point?
The biggest key is maturity. I think the defensive line has matured, and that's probably the biggest key to the whole thing. I can be Charles Haley now. I can go out and do my own thing without having to trying to get everybody involved and try to line them up and tell them what would be the best pass rush for them to go against their guy. We can just go out and play now. By the game day, I know they focus and I'm focused, and I can go do my thing and they'll do theirs, and we can have some fun out there.
I know that the Cowboy organization is very happy that you ended up here in Dallas, but I know that you tried your best to get out of San Francisco. How is the relationship between you and DeBartolo and or George Seifert?
Well, Eddie DeBartolo is a great owner. I think, if a player had a chance to go anywhere, they should go to San Francisco, because Eddie DeBartolo is the greatest owner that ever played, to ever own a team. But in my case, it wasn't George Seifert the reason I left. It was deeper than that. And my thing is when I'm around a group of people that forget how to win, forget how to prepare to win, then I don't need to be there. And if I see the coaching staff don't know how to motivate players, then I don't need to be there, because it's frustrating to me, because I'm in it to win it. If I can't win it, I don't want to be in it.
Charles Haley, we want you to stay with us. Our Celebrity Pick 3 segment is coming up here, and we have one of your favorite singing groups in on it, Peter, Paul, and Mary. I know you're a big fan. The Pick 3 comes from, I don't know, Peter, Paul, or Mary, one of the three. I think it's Paul. Let's take a look at it, the Pick 3.
That's Raiders in Miami, huh? Well, I played a lot of touch football in my day, and the Raiders are going to take this one. Yeah, the Dolphins just don't have it together enough, not like the Raiders this year. Philadelphia and Dallas, huh, Jerry? Well, I know who you'd like me to say is going to win this thing, but, and boy, did Philadelphia look strong last week, huh? But I'm sorry, I got a daughter who wears a little star around her neck because she's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I've been a Cowboys fan for even before you got there. So I'm going to have to pick Dallas just because I love them. San Francisco and Atlanta. Steve had a lot of problems last week, but Atlanta's not too much better off. I think we're going to look for Dion to do a number on his old teammates. We're going to see San Francisco overwhelm Atlanta pretty easily. Now, mind you, these getting this from the balding Foky, the person who knows and speaks to Puff intimately about football scores.
All right, there's Paul's version of the picks. Guys, I need a quick pick from each of you, just a winner on each of these games, Miami and the Raiders. Charles, who do you like?
Raiders.
I'd say Miami.
All right, Dallas and Philadelphia. Charles?
The best team on Sunday, and that's always the Cowboys.
Dallas. Everson likes Dallas. And the 49ers and Atlanta.
Okay,
he picked
49ers.
He probably hasn't picked the 49ers since he left.
No. The reason I did it was because, you know, a man with long fingernails like this, how can you respect what he's thinking about, you know?
Charles Haley, thanks for being with us. I appreciate it. All right. A lucky member of our studio audience tonight is going to have a big thrill. We're glad to welcome the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas as one of our Sports Waves sponsor. Now, taped underneath one of the chairs here in our Sports Wave studio is our grand prize. Tickets and accommodations, tickets to a Rolling Stone concert at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino, and accommodations at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Do we have our winner? There he is.
And what is your name?
Congratulations.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? What's your name?
My name's Alan Rhodes.
Hi, Alan Rhodes. You ever been to Vegas?
Not in a long time, about 5 years ago.
So then you haven't been to the MGM Grand?
No, ma'am, sure haven't.
Do you like the Rolling Stones?
Yes, ma'am, sure do.
Yeah? Well, this man just went. We're going to break. See ya.
All right.
Williams. You would not believe how much fun it is to be in the Sports Wave crowd here at Miami Subs Grill. If you plan on being in the Dallas area on a Monday, just write to the following address for reserved tickets. It's almost as fun as being at the Super Bowl, only the food's better here.
Sports Waves is brought to you by Apex Authentic NFL Pro Line Apparel. Available at Foot Action. For every action, there's Foot Action. By American Airlines. Something special in the air. By the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. The world's largest hotel, casino, and theme park. And by Miami Subs Grill. Great food served fast.
We're back on Sports Waves. Mike Doocy, and we have a few more minutes with Everson Walls. Everson, you're still close, of course, to the NFL scene and the Dallas Cowboys. Are they still the best team in football? Has anybody else gotten good enough to dethrone them at this point, do you think?
Well, you could always look at the Chargers, and, you know, they are looking very good, but there's something about that AFC stigma. I just really can't compare them to any of the better teams in the NFC. I would have to say the Cowboys looking very good. I don't think they've really been tested yet. That's the only difference in what happened last year and this year. They really showed a lot of, they did well through a lot of adversity. And this year, I don't think they've had that much adversity.
All right, they'll likely be tested Sunday against the Eagles. Let's take a quick look at our phone poll for tonight. Why hasn't the NFL embraced the two-point conversion? There were just 36 attempted through this past weekend's games. According to the folks at home, 36% think the coaches are too conservative, 45% think game situations haven't created needs, and 19% think the players, coaches, and fans can't do the new math. I think I might agree with some of the latter. We'd like to thank all of our guests tonight. Herschel Walker, Charles Haley, they both received suits from Lombardo Custom Apparel, as does Everson Walls, our co-host tonight. Enjoyed it, my friend. Thanks for being with us. Next week, Jimmie Johnson will be with us. Also, legend Ray Nitschke and Brett Favre of the Green Bay Packers. I'm Mike Doocy. Thanks for being with us, everybody. So long.
Pardo Custom Apparel, America's finest custom clothing. Accommodations in South Florida provided by the Marriott Key Largo Bay Beach Resort. And in Dallas, Jimmie Johnson and his guests stay at the beautiful Melrose Hotel. Sports Waves is a presentation of DCL Media and